afternoon, guys. Firstly, I hope we are well. Welcome back to my channel. Wow, my hair, what is that doing? I don't even know. I'm just gonna leave it. No doubt I'll probably put it kind of up halfway through this because I do not want to be touching my hair throughout it. Do you know what? Let's put it up. I'm putting it up. Okay, so today's video is going to be, as you've seen by the title, my 1 year kind of fitness journey, like an updated basically version. Now, of course, I did this video here, which you'll see, which is kind of touching on obviously not competing any further. Never say never, but kind of in the long term, I'm not planning on kind of competing. Of course, I documented the whole of my kind of prep, as you see, like there's the whole prep series. I've taken you guys through kind of each stage of my journey. It's been a year since I stepped away from stage. I don't know, it sounds really, really cringy, but I'm like the happiest version of myself. That is cringy to say, I feel like. But I know myself, and I know you guys have kind of commented on it as well. I have my true balance, like I fully have it. This is basically my 1 year kind of fitness journey update, my plan of action, where I am in life, what I'm doing. So yeah, if you're excited, if you're planning on watching the video, please hit the like button. This of course does help my YouTube platform, and then of course subscribe, and yeah, comment down below what kind of videos you want to see. Okay, so first I'm going to take you through kind of like an update of like everything that happened, like my kind of timeline of this past year. I then also did put a kind of like question box on my Instagram, kind of asking you guys what kind of topics you want me to discuss. So let's get into this journey. Now, I ended prep, it was the first week of July in 2021. I ended my prep with the intention of still competing in the next year. So this was kind of my lowest point. I was 66.2 kilos. Now, I did 3 shows. Where did I get? I got second, then I didn't place, and then second again, which I was really pleased with that second in the last show because it was insane quality. Like insane, like people, like girls. The girls were insane. That's what I'm thinking of. So that was my kind of shows. Now, I still had the intention of kind of competing. Like I was like, right, do you know what? Off season, let's document the off season. Let's go again, and we then go again the following year. Mindset wise, to be completely honest with you guys, I was so over it though. I was very much at the kind of point of get me out of this. Like I need to feel myself. Obviously running a kind of business as well at the same time, buying our first house, sorting out a mortgage, being self-employed. Anyone that's done that knows the struggles. And then also kind of having obviously a dog, just generally kind of living a 20-year-old life, kind of trying to socialize at the same time as well. This stuff was hard. Like this was stressful. My stress was to the roof. Like it was incredibly high. So I got to my second to last show. At this point, I was around kind of in week 25 of prep. That's a very loose estimation. I did 27 weeks in total. So yeah, it was week 25 with week 26. This is my second show, and I literally got to the point, I was like, I didn't really cry to be honest. Throughout my whole entire prep, I was very happy. Obviously, I was doing FitChallenge macros. Food was at a very, very good point, and I know myself that I was in a very, very good position with my food. Like my coach at the time was telling me kind of, and all his kind of, a couple of his other kind of competitors as well, like what, like you're in the same position. I was having refeeds constantly. I was having kind of obviously 2,000 plus calories on prep for refeeds. I was eating my favorite foods. I was making my favorite foods. Yeah, I was in a good position. I had set myself into a good position because I'd done such a kind of structured off season myself and kind of did that myself. Took my calories up, obviously got them to kind of like 3,500 plus. We then obviously kind of lost 16 kilos, me and my coach, together for prep. I was very consistent. Like I was literally regimented. I was on it like a carb on it. Literally, is that, I'm not like carb on it? I was literally on it. Like there was no going off plan. Like I did not go off a plan once. Like it was, no, I was like, you know how they say like blink or dies? Like that was fully me. I was in that, nothing else was kind of distracting me. Only stay at home. I worked, I did my steps, I did my cardio, I trained, and then obviously I ate, and that was it. That was my day every single day without fail. Pretty much 7 days per week. I was literally kind of keeping myself distracted, working constantly, whether that be kind of when I'm sat in bed because I couldn't have enough energy to get out, whether I was literally just kind of in the office. We're obviously living at home at this point at my mum's house. So that was kind of prep. I got to that kind of second show, and I was just literally in tears, like, get me out. Like, I am so exhausted. And you can see it. There's a clip on one of my YouTube videos, and I watched it back the other day, and I was like, wow, I looked exhausted. And I cried on my YouTube, my Instagram story as well. Never done that. Like, haven't done that. I very rarely do that. when you're in that kind of position, you're vulnerable. You're lean, you're hungry, everything is obviously harder, your energy's so low. Obviously I was getting a lot of hate at that point as well, and DMs, kind of comments, everywhere I looked, it was kind of constant. So that was hard. That obviously added to the pressure as well. I like myself as well with a bit more kind of body fat, and I'm happy to say that, like I do, and I feel more confident in myself. And I just felt so small, like I just felt kind of so like lethargic, everything, kind of, you name it, I felt lethargic. My second show, my posing on the actual day itself, I got an ear infection. I wobbled on stage, of course, balance, etc. I was literally all over the place. I couldn't even function. I can't even tell you guys, I couldn't even get words out. Like, I watched my YouTube back and I was like, oh my goodness. My sentences did not make sense. I then got through, I was debating even if to do the third show. Like, it was literally, I was on the phone to mum like, I don't have to do this, I don't feel well enough, I don't feel good. Obviously, ear infection, I felt so fatigued, and I was like, it's 5 days. So I had myself a burger and chips. Long story short, I had myself a kind of my, obviously, off-plan, my kind of evening off after that kind of second show. Enjoyed that food off. Then I went into the kind of the third show, and I have never seen someone so excited to be done. Like, I was done at that point, and I just wanted to get on stage. I didn't really care where I placed, to be honest. I just wanted to kind of enjoy it and get on and get off and get myself some food and get that food back up and get my energy back on point. I was then kind of at the point of obviously reverse dieting. I was still with my coach at this point. I was kind of getting my weight up to a very, very good point. Felt really good, and that brings me to our holiday we went to Lanzarote. I think it was October. I was really happy with my physique, where I was at. Of course, I was up in kind of weight, and my food was sky high again. And then obviously kind of I started to take my journey by myself. I'd done my reverse diet with my coach. I was pleased, and at that point I then made the decision that I kind of didn't want to compete. I had been questioning it myself for months, where I was maintaining. Over kind of December, I did actually injure myself. I injured my lower back, so I kind of had December off pretty much. Like, I wasn't training much, I was just kind of actually having a relaxed approach, which was really nice. We then had America planned, which I was so excited for, obviously with navigation. So I then went into a 4-week kind of cutting, 4 months, sorry. Was it? No, 3 months. It was a 12-week cutting phase. I lost 4 kilos, that's where the 4 came from. And yeah, here I am now. So my lowest weight was 66.2. I am currently around 73 kilos, and I'm very happy, I'm very content with that. I have been kind of putting up obviously calories post America, which I'm in a good position. I left for America around 2,700 calories, and then I think it was 2,600 or 2,500 for my rest days. And then now I'm at kind of 2,800 on rest days and 3,100 on training days, which I'm content. My weight is maintaining where I'm currently at, around that 72, 73 mark. Now I have so much balance. I think I have pretty much for the past 3 months, yeah, 2 to 3 months, I've been out every single weekend. I would say at least 1 meal out per week. Work like has literally been a huge priority, and that was the key thing. When I stepped away from competing, I wanted to put my even more all into kind of work. So yeah, since kind of ending prep, I haven't actually done like an official growing phase, like a bulk. I do plan on doing one, not as intense. I do not need to rush my process now. Like, that is in kind of, that chapter is like closed. I go on holiday literally, like I said, next week, and then we also have a holiday in November, which is literally for me a dream location that I've always had on my bucket list. After this holiday, I am looking to just maintain where I'm currently at. I think it's not decided. I was planning on cutting, but to be honest, I don't think I want to get that much leaner like than I'm currently at. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm not set on anything yet. I'm just gonna see how I feel. Okay, let's kind of answer a few questions, and I can kind of diversify on them and like kind of touch on them further. So someone said hardest part of the last year, best part and biggest learning curve. The hardest part was literally the energy. I look back at photos and I look back at my smile, and I not question, but I kind of look, I'm like, was I truly my happiest? I never regret doing it. I learned so much from it. I learned so much about myself. Dieting as a whole, I learned so much. Like, I learned so much from it. It's very valuable for myself. And I loved it. Like, I did. My obviously hardest part, it's 110% the energy, how I was feeling. Just not going out with family and friends. Like, I literally isolated myself. I was exhausted, and I'd say my kind of coping mechanism for that is to isolate myself. Honestly, the questions I get and that I got during prep was, do you actually have any friends? And that kind of stuff does hurt. Like, I do have friends. I don't post it on social media because those people don't want to be posted on social media, which is completely understandable. And I don't go around kind of when I'm with friends like, hold on guys, I need to take a photo of you, kind of thing to post on my social media, wait there, because that's not, I kind of like being present in the moment. The kind of best part, was how kind of looking back and reflecting actually on I did that, like I literally did that. There was a point at the start, at the end of last year, I was like, I don't know how I did that. I loved that kind of having that dedication, that drive. I met some really nice people while doing it, and kind of just everything about that part, excluding the low energy. So yeah, I would say that. Okay, so did it affect your relationship with food or body image? I have a very good relationship with my body, very good relationship with my food. I always have with the scales. That is just me. I've always been a foodie. I love food. So no, I was in a very fortunate position where it did not impact me in any way, shape or form like that. Of course I had hard days, I had low days. I had days where I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough for this kind of thing. And that PCA show, I was very self-doubting. That's the one check-in I ever had with my previous coach where I said to him, I actually feel like poo. So it was on the show day itself, and that was the only day. And I remember him, he was like, what the hell? Like, he was shocked as well, because that's not me as a person. At the end of that show, I then said to my kind of coach, look, I need to have a week off of tracking calories. There was nothing wrong. Like, I didn't kind of wasn't overindulging anything. I just needed to take that stress away from myself and actually kind of just be a little bit present. Like, I needed to go out with family and friends. I needed to go out with kind of Harl's parents. I hadn't like kind of gone out with his parents for food in a long time. Same with my mum, same with my grandparents. I actually need to go around to my grandparents and have a solid conversation and feel energized. So I basically took the first week off of kind of at the end of my kind of show to literally take it off. I did no training, no cardio, no steps. Obviously I walked the dogs, so I still did steps. No kind of tracking calories, nothing like that. Got to Sunday, picked it back up and went boom, okay, back into it. That was me. I do have a good relationship. Of course, everyone's kind of relationship is different. Please do not compare it to mine. Please do not compare it to anyone else's. That is just my kind of experience. If you are in a position where post-show you are struggling, please, my biggest advice, be kind of truthful with your coach. It is so important. Next topic is weight gain. Actually, obviously post-show, I needed to gain weight. It was inevitable. I could not have maintained at that 66.2, which is my lowest weight, by the way. That for me is a position where it's far too lean, because I can start to see my hair thinning. I was losing obviously this patch of my hair, which we can still see. It is still kind of not as it used to be, but it's so much more improved. Like, I'll put photos here as well of my hair journey, and I kind of touch on that in a different video if you guys want me to. I was very accepting of that. I wanted to gain weight. I wanted to feel kind of fuller. I wanted to feel more energy. I wanted to get back to normal life. Competing and prepping is not a normal, like not a normality every single day of the year. That's not something you can do every minute of the day, like every minute of the whole entire year. And that's something I kind of kept saying throughout my prep, that this is not sustainable, this is not realistic. Please do not strive for this kind of this point, because that wouldn't be sustainable. I remember this one point, I was walking the dogs, so Lola and Shelby at the time. We were obviously living at home still, and I texted my coach like, I am actually starving. My food was obviously still already very high. I was almost at the 3,000 calorie mark at this point, and I texted him like, I am so hungry, my energy is so low, my weight is still dropping, I was still coming down at this point, and he literally upped my food again by a good couple of 100 calories. Of course there were kind of times where I was like, oh, this is a change. I'm seeing obviously my body completely change. I've gone from having this visible six-pack to obviously, you could say having, I don't like saying this, but kind of being softer, and of course a higher body fat percentage, which is inevitable, it's going to happen. I was very happy with that. But yes, there were kind of times and I was like, oh, okay. If you are going into a competitive season, you've got to also realize that you're going to have to put that weight back on, and you're going to have to get yourself to a relatively good position health-wise post-show. Okay, so as I was saying, I had to come sit over here because my legs were absolutely killing me. So as I was saying, obviously health should always be at the top of the priority list. I did a blood test, I think it was 4 weeks after competing, once kind of my food had been back up, my body had settled a little bit. Everything came back literally fine. Like, I was literally in a fine position. Okay, this is a good one. Can you explain why you even wanted to compete? The reasoning behind like why I wanted to compete, I used to actually go and watch my mum compete when I was younger. So when my mum and dad divorced, which was 11 years ago now, like, my mum wanted a new chapter to really focus on herself, so she actually started competing. So I was so nervous, so young, etc. I'd sit in the audience by myself, shout to my mum, obviously videoing it as well. Harv and I then obviously got together, and my mum took Harv to the gym. I would go to the gym with her and just do cardio. I'd like be on the treadmill, etc., while they actually do weight trained. I then actually grew some balls and I didn't grow some balls, I guess. I guess I literally just went with them, was like, okay, I'm missing out here. What are they doing? What am I not doing? And from there, it kind of spiraled. I then went to uni. I stopped horse riding because I went to uni. I then obviously started training, etc., taking it a bit more, I wouldn't say seriously, I just kind of train. I enjoyed it at uni. I was training like 5 or 6 days per week. I also actually joined a gym, like it was a gym, you know how you get the sports at kind of uni where, the sports at uni where that's like cricket or basketball or netball, etc. I did the one at Oxford Brookes that was based around the gym, and I absolutely loved it. I would go with a couple of other people, boys and girls, and we'd train together, and it was really, really cool. Some of them were actually on Instagram. They were quite big time, so at the time I was like, wow. Really helped my confidence as well. So it kind of spiraled from that, I would say. And then I kind of, Harv actually did it before me. So Harv was like, I'm going to compete. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll help you kind of document it. I'll help kind of you go obviously through it. And mum prepped him. And then also, I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna join you with it. However, I was so set on the fact that I would never do it because I loved food. So my first, mum obviously prepped me for that, which was my first kind of show years and years and years ago now. And then it kind of spiraled from there. I did that, and then I did another season, and I did my 3rd season, and then that was, my 3rd season was my final one. The 3rd, I would say, was obviously the most successful. My physique obviously was more matured, you could say. By then I'd grown obviously a lot more muscle, experience, knowledge, obviously understanding, training intensity, everything had obviously progressed. The reason behind why I wanted to do it was to actually just prove it to myself. There was no set reason. Obviously I had been brought up behind that background as well. So yeah, I guess you could say that, like, that was reasoning behind it. And now I'm at a point where I'm like mid-20s, and I just simply I don't know, I just want to kind of live a bit more, you could say. Like, competing does take up a lot of your life. 2 more questions. So one of them was off the pill, about kind of touching on coming off the pill. So I have been off the pill now for a solid month, I believe. No apparent cycle yet. No visual kind of apparent cycle yet. So I have been on the pill for 7+ years. Please also remember, this is my experience. If you are in a position, I would always go and speak to your doctor. Always, always, always. So I have been on the pill for like 7+ years. I went on the pill when I went on holiday with my dad. This is how long ago this was, guys. Like, this was a long time ago. I went to America with my dad, and I wanted to make sure, I would basically wanted to make sure that I could control when my cycle was, because I was with my dad at the point, and I wasn't comfortable having my period around him. Okay, so we've covered that basis. So that was why I went on the pill, and I've never come off. I've literally never come off. Obviously then Harv and I got together, and 7 years later, here we are. I simply just wanted to have a natural cycle. I simply want to see how I feel, and I know kind of these past few months, I guess you could say, I've been very overwhelmed and stressed, but I kind of want to see actually if that's just work, or if that actually is a combination of the pill, etc., and how it actually has made me feel. So I'm not saying anything yet with it, because it has only been 4 weeks. It's still very early days, so I just want to kind of have a few more weeks, and I can touch on it further. But with coming off the pill, no kind of cycle as of yet. I do take my temperature every single morning. I use an app called Natural Cycles. Skin wise, it's okay. It's not amazing. Like, I go through kind of fits and phases, like fits and starts with it. I haven't really noticed too much of a difference, to be honest. So yeah. Now, the final question as well is, how has your training changed? My training during prep was 5 days per week. I was training 5 days per week. I was doing 45 minutes cardio every single day. Now itself, I am doing 45 minutes cardio once, like, across the entire week. So I can split that up how I fancy. I am thinking about bringing it down if I need to, but I'm not just yet. So I'm doing 45 minutes cardio across the entire week, compared to 7 days of 45 minutes. And then I'm also doing 9 to 10K steps. Prep, I was doing 13K steps. Food, obviously, as discussed, I'm eating obviously more food. So my lowest food on prep was 1,680 calories. That was for 5 days, and then it was 1,770. So yeah, 1,680 was my lowest prep food, which is quite high for a lot of people on prep, to be honest with you. So yeah, I was in a good position, although I was starving. And I'm now on 3,100 on train days and 3,200 2,800 on rest days. Wow. So in terms of training, I have also brought that down to 4 days per week. I no longer train 5 days. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my schedule, my recovery as well. And I just don't want to be training 5 days. I like 4 days. Those sessions are about 45 minutes to an hour, and that's plenty for me. So yeah, that is my training kind of as a whole. So to kind of summarize my video, I actually can't believe it's been a year. Like guys, I can't even tell you, it has been a whirlwind of a year. The other day I was out and I was like, wow, this is actually insane. And it was when I was in America with Harv. I said to him, this is crazy. Like, this is actually insane. Like, I fully am now in a position where I'm very, very content, very happy. I have that balance, not fully with kind of switching off of work, but that's just me, but like balance in terms of actually going out and socializing and actually just taking time away, like actually allowing myself that bit of time. But I take 1 to 2 days away from tracking per week if I fancy it, and I just pretty much eat the same foods, just unless I go out for food. So yeah, I am very content. I feel like you guys can see that as well. I've had quite a few messages about that, but I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot as a person, and I'm very, very proud. Very proud, which I never really say because I don't like saying that. But yeah, it's not always perfect. Like, there really is no need for perfection. I actually did this post. I'm gonna post this post here that I did kind of from 2020 to 2021, which was mid-prep, by the way, and then to now. I'm in a very good position. I'm very happy and very content. So that is me kind of ending this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a part 2 and there's kind of further things you'd like me to touch on, please of course do let me know in the comments down below. So anyway, I'll catch you guys next week. Please don't hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you then.